Good evening, everybody. I can see all the black boxes on my screen. It'll be really great to see some faces over here. Hi, we have got Monica, Ankita. Hi, Rashmi. Nice to see you. Uh, we have with us Omkar. Thank you for joining us, Omkar. Hi, Manisha. Jyoti,
Hello.
after a long time. uh, we have got Sanjana. We have got Shefali, Ranjika. Hello, everybody. We've got Manthan. Hi, Manthan. All right, awesome. So we have got a good gang over here, and we are all pumped up to get quickly get to the session of the power of movement. How uh, entrepreneurs can endure long working hours. So that's the topic for today's masterclass. We have got Omkar Chincholkar. He is a part of our community. Thank you, Omkar, firstly for doing this for the community. And यार ये बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल हो जाता है इतना long hours. We end up I have done 14 hours also. I have done 15 hours also. And then फिर उसके बाद एक दिन ऐसा हो जाता है कि आज नहीं करना है. ये तो एकदम zero हो जाता है and you're bored to even show up. So I think this is a story of a lot of people. And at times when you don't feel like working at all, you have to work and you have to show up. So this is something which is a challenge for a lot of people. So really looking forward to learn a lot and take away a lot from this session. Before I hand over the session to you, Omkar, a quick introduction for the community. Um Omkar and Divita, both are the co-founders of Omfit, and they started their journey. Uh, Today, Omkar is going to convene the session. We were expecting Divita as well, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, Omkar will be conducting the session. He's an electronic engineer, by education, who ventured into the field of health and fitness science out of his sheer curiosity, and he never looked back from there. A lot of good work has happened over there. He is now an internationally certified master coach, leading a team of over 20 members and spreading this thing of fitness. And today we are going to have this thing with a dash with a flavor of entrepreneurship. So, Omkar, over to you for this session, and we're really looking forward.
Thank you so much, Amit and Suranjika. And thanks to Tapstart Digital. It's an amazing community. And for me to give this opportunity to speak to all the entrepreneurs. So usually all the seminars which we conduct are in corporates. Many of them are for team leaders, but most of them are also for employees. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, here is where I can relate the most. Because I go through the very similar challenges which you guys must be going through being an entrepreneur. So I still remember at the opening of our office space, I was welcoming, as a chief guest, I was welcoming the DCP of Pune and some other honored guests. And on the same day, I was also brooming the floor because there was no one else to do that, or the person who was supposed to be there at that particular time wasn't present. So there are these varied type of tasks that an entrepreneur does, and what the outer world might think of as we only get out of these cars and always with a blazer on and carry our micro laptop bag. That's not the case. There's everything that we have to do because the buck stops here. So I can relate to what you guys must be going through. And I'll keep today's discussion for the first 30-35 minutes. I'll be the one speaking. You can still interrupt me on chat if you want. And I've got a list of questions here, but still I would encourage all of you to ask questions. Also, a kind request, if all of you keep your videos on, that would be great. Thank you so much, Rashmi and Deepti. It's you guys who I'm looking to right now, and I'm sharing whatever I want to share. There would be no presentations. I don't want to go in a lot of data. It's all, all experience-based and fact-based talk that I'll be sharing with you. First, I would like to start with a very relatable story. We have a member in Omfit, and her name is Lorraine. If any one of you are from Pune, when you go from Pune to Bombay or Mumbai, there is a very beautiful stud farm, horse riding farm, called as Japloop Equestrian Center. It is one of the largest horse riding schools in Pune, in India, not in Pune, it's in Pune. And Japloop is operated by two people, Rohan and Lorraine. Lorraine is the mother and Rohan is the son. So Rohan had diabetes and he started training with us. He reversed his diabetes, got fit. And then Lorraine, at the age of 64, started having some joint pains. Very common at the age of 64, started having some joint pain. And she started saying that now is the time when I retire. And she was a very active lady, because if you have to work on a farm, on a stud farm, you need to be active. You're dealing with horses, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with plants and animals and stuff. And they have 72 horses, so that's a lot to deal with. So very active lady, but then she started having joint pain, and then she started having discussions with her son about retiring. Now, Rohan said that, why don't you start training? And she was like, exercise at this age, I'm 64, so how do I do that? But she still came and we started training. And I don't know for what reason, in the gym, there are these pink color dumbbells, which are typically 1 or 1.5 kg in weight. And the heavier dumbbells are usually the black ones. So we started training with those pink dumbbells. This was in 2018. We started training with those pink dumbbells. One thing led to another. We kept on training. Right now, she's 68 years old. She's still training with us. And Lorraine got 8 gold medals for India in Asian Powerlifting Championship. So she represented our country and got 8 gold medals for India in the sport of powerlifting. A lady who had never ever lifted weights in a gym, now an international level powerlifter. And this journey happened gradually, and this journey happened with training. But this is not the best part. The best part is that now she is entirely operating Japloop Equestrian Center. They are expanding from 72 horses. They have gone to over 140 horses. And just last week, they hosted one of the biggest equestrian event in our country, the country has ever seen, called as Annual Equestrian Games. And Lorraine was anchoring the whole event. Lorraine was present on her toes, and I also got her data from her watch. She was clocking 22,000 steps every day on an average at the age of 68. So her entrepreneur journey and the kind of movement that she's doing and the kind of work that she's doing is through the roof. Even if the age is 68, doesn't matter. Now, the reason why I told you this is because most of the entrepreneurs who have joined today are women. And when it comes to exercise, women-centric exercise is seen as cardio and Zumba. Of course, it is changing rapidly, but I have a slightly different thought process. If you look at physiology, human physiology, physiologically, males have more testosterone and women have more estrogen, right? That is for reproductive purposes. So men in ancient times were given the task of going out and finding hunting animals and getting the food, whereas women were historically given the task of whenever it has to be reproduced, so to protect or to take care of the children. That is why the hormonal distribution happened. But now that is not the case. Now we see that we can do everything, correct? Be it man or be it male, female, or whatever gender, that doesn't matter anymore. So testosterone on an average is higher in males. That is why if you look at an average 20-year-old male and an average 20-year-old female, the average 20-year-old male would be slightly stronger than the male, than the female. And that is because of the hormonal balance that nature has given us. Now, this is the single most and the most important reason why women and all women should start with strength training. Because if you lack strength, in comparison with average human physiology, if you lack strength, then strength training is the thing that we need to do. I also do this comparison between old people and young people. When we look at younger people, Younger people, like a teenage woman, 20-year-old versus an 80-year-old woman, the 80-year-old woman will have much less strength than a 20-year-old woman, correct? Do you agree with that? I'm talking about average women. That is the reason why in gyms, जो भीड़ होती है, that should be of old people, not young people. But we see something the other way around. So whatever we lack or whatever we have slightly lesser, that is the exact thing that we should work on. And that is why I believe that everyone should do something for their fitness or something for their health. Now, connecting the dots to entrepreneurship, whenever we look at entrepreneurship, leadership is one of the most important qualities that we need, correct? I hope everyone agrees, right? Because we need to lead a team, right? And in leadership, there is one very important thing which, there is a lot of data, there is a lot of science which has proven, that is winning. So you make a decision, and if your team does not agree to your decision, the level of confidence that we have reduces. And there is a hormone in the brain which is released called as serotonin. Now, serotonin is a hormone and dopamine also is a hormone. Both of these hormones are connected to your mood. If you ever look at lobsters or even monkeys, they have a very similar brain structure to us. In lobsters, especially dominance is the one who takes on fights with other lobsters, and lobster A wins the fight with lobster B. Lobster A jeet jata hai. And then the serotonin levels of the lobster increase. Because of increased serotonin levels, he will pick a fight with C, then he will pick a fight with D, E, F, and he will pick a fight with all the lobster till he becomes the alpha lobster. That is the thing with lobsters. In monkeys, it is seen both in females and males, be it any gender in monkeys. So when you pick up a fight and when you win the fight, the serotonin levels increase, and that gives us a cyclical response where it keeps on increasing as you keep winning fights. Now, we humans, we don't get into physical fights, but an entrepreneur has to get into mental fights every single day. We need to influence our teams and we need to give them certain decisions that this is my decision. And these are the reasons why I think it is right, because I have a strategic picture or a strategic overview. And this is the reason why you should do it. And then there are two options where the team either agrees or does not agree, and that impacts our serotonin levels, right? There is one more thing which affects our serotonin levels, and that is exercise. So if you exercise without picking a fight with anyone, but you need to pick a fight with yourself. If you exercise regularly, and when I say exercise, I mean only 20 minutes of exercise. That's it, 20 minutes of exercise. Regularly, if you exercise, your serotonin levels increase. And that helps a lot in decision making. That helps a lot in winning arguments or winning or taking influence over the team. And that helps a lot in leadership. And this is proven by science. There is a second thing which exercise does. In the brain, in the frontal part of the brain, there is a prefrontal cortex exactly behind the forehead. And a little behind, we have the hippocampus. The hippocampus area is responsible for focus. So I got a lot of questions here, which you filled on your Zoom. Nuzat, I think your mic is unmuted. So I got a lot of questions on here, and a lot of questions are about staying motivated or keeping concentration or keeping focus. Many times we lose focus, and of course social media has added to that everyone has a compulsory ADHD now. Everyone, whoever is on social media. By the way, that is one of the reasons why I personally don't use social media. This is my phone here. I use this phone for everything. This is the smartest decision I made in my life about 7 months back, and my productivity has shot up through the roof. I will come to that later, but talking about focus. Focus is related to the hippocampus area in the brain, all right? And again, exercise not only impacts the function of the hippocampus, but the anatomy of the hippocampus. Anatomy मतलब जो brain का structure है, वो structure ही change हो जाता है. वो structure actually improve हो जाता है. The muscle actually takes a different form. The neural connection in the brain actually take a different form. There is a very beautiful TED talk by a speaker called as Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy is a neuroscientist who has done a lot of research on neuroscience and exercise. Or one of the top grossing podcasts on health right now is Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is again a neuroscientist and who has a very beautiful podcast around health and fitness. So you can watch that as well. There's a lot of research, a lot of data, how exercise directly affects the brain. And again, one of the best things which exercise does, is, and you can try it tonight. Forget about tomorrow. You can try it tonight. Just go for a walk. Leave your phone, ghar pe chhod do, and go for a walk for 20 minutes. Go in a park and come back. You will immediately see that your mood is elevated. You'd immediately see that you are a lot more peaceful. You are a lot happier, and that does influence your work. That absolutely influences our work, because we have seen that in our lives. We have seen that in the lives of multiple members who are CEOs or at CXO positions in our in the members that we have. We have seen them winning more when they start exercising a lot. So not only physical, but there are these mental benefits of exercise. When we look at physical benefits, I would like to give you a statistic. The United States of America was the most obese country in the world. Most obese country in the world. All right. In 2020, we Indians crossed them and we are at number 1 right now. All right. It was the US. Now it is us. Of course, population also has to play a role, but even percentage wise, now we have surpassed them. All right. We keep following them for health advice, but we kept following the top obese country for health advice, and that happened. So what I'm about to say is, you can Google right now, or you can ask ChatGPT also, what is the number one reason? What is the number one reason for employees taking leaves in the US? And you know, the number one reason is back pain, body pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. Pain like musculoskeletal pain is the top reason why so many people take leaves in office. And when I say so many people, that also includes us entrepreneurs, right? And there is the reward and consequence concept, right? Which is beautifully written in Atomic Habits also. Exercise is a thing where you don't get the rewards immediately, right? Like, for example, if all of us today who all have joined, if we start exercising today, do you think you'll lose 5 kilos in a day? No. Do you think you'll suddenly, your muscles will become stronger in a day? No. In fact, if you exercise today, kal to sab dukhega. Everything will pain tomorrow. So the reward that we are going to get is after 3 months. But the consequence that you need to pay is right now. And what is the consequence? I will tell you. You had a long night, and then the 6 a.m. alarm goes off. And then after 6 a.m., you have immediately 6:05, then 6:10, 6:15, aise sare alarm lage hote. And then you keep on hitting the snooze button where you don't wake up because you know you have to exercise. And you know, the real challenge is not exercise. The real challenge is getting up, changing your clothes, wearing your exercise clothes, and going on the yoga mat or going to the gym. एक बार आप gym में चले गए, once you go on the exercise floor, then the entire challenge goes away. Then you can exercise. You ask someone to do 1 hour of exercise, 2 hours of exercise, no problem. But the main hurdle is actually changing. And the main hurdle is because we treat exercise as a punishment. I see so many Indians say this. Arey, gulab jamun kha lo yaar, pizza kha lo, kal thoda zyada chal lena. Right? Aaj thoda kha lo yaar. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. Until and unless we understand the fact that the reward that we are going to get with exercise is going to be 3 months later, but the consequence we have to pay right now, it is an investment. And you cannot expect, like you hire an employee, you cannot expect the employee to start performing the very next day. The employee has to go through a training process. The training expenses have to be borne by you. Then the employee will make 10 mistakes. Then you have to do leadership lessons for the employee. And then After 3 months, the employee will actually start showing benefits. We understand this about entrepreneurship, but when it comes to our own body, we need to be a better CEO of our own body, where we understand that exercise is an investment. Invest today and get the rewards after 3 months, right? Versus when it comes to eating that pastry, eating that pizza, or sleeping in the bed, there you get the reward immediately. Why? अभी तो ठंड चल रही है इंडिया में, right? 6 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning, the alarm goes off and the fan is on, and you have taken the blanket where your foot is half the foot is outside the blanket, and it's 5 a.m. That is like the best soothing sleep that you would ever get, right? You are getting the right kind of cold and the right kind of warmth in your cozy blanket, right? In the quilt. And then the 5 a.m. alarm goes and you hit the snooze button. Why you hit the snooze button is because you don't have to pay for the consequences right now. Because if you don't exercise today, आपका 5 kilo weight gain नहीं होने वाला. You're not going to gain 5 kilos. You will pay for the consequences later, but you will get the reward right now. You will get the reward right now. So just like you manage your money in office, you will have to be the CEO or the CFO of your own body and start understanding that the investment is going to be painful. You will have to go through that pain initially, and then the rewards will start coming. Also, a very common thing, which I again got in the questions that you have asked, or in what are your productivity challenges, that many people are stressed. Please raise your hand if you're stressed. All right, please raise your hand if you're stressed. If you're stressed, because we are entrepreneurs, right? Stressed, like as I said, right, on the day when I was inviting and honoring the guests, on the same day I was also sweeping the floor. So you have to do varied number of tasks. So stress can increase or decrease at any time. Employees have stolen your data, critical IP, and left. Very, very common challenge, especially in India. You have called someone for an interview and the person does not turn up. Very very common challenge, right? Now what I want to share with you all is the power of movement, which is the topic of the seminar today. Is that stress is of two types. One is productive stress and one is non-productive stress. The stress that we need to deal with entrepreneurship is non-productive stress, or is the stress with which you are going to get bogged down. When we look at exercise, we are taking productive stress. Our body is so amazing. Again, I would like to quote, there is a very good philosopher called as Nassim Taleb, N.N. Taleb, who has written beautiful books. And he has written one book called as Anti-Fragile. Anti-Fragile means if I drop this glass right now, if I drop this glass, what will happen? It will break. So the glass is fragile. If I drop this diary, will it break? If I drop this on the table, it won't break. So it is strong, it is solid, it is not anti-fragile. You know what anti-fragile is? Anti-fragile ka matlab hai, the number of times you drop a thing, it keeps on getting stronger and stronger. It doesn't stay where it is. It actually gets stronger. And that is something which is a quality, a superpower, which the human body has. It is called the law of supercomposition. मैं एक बहुत simple example लेता हूँ. Let's say who all here live in a society or an apartment which is above the 5th floor. 5th floor से ऊपर कौन रहता है? All right, there are 4-5 people. If the elevator in your building goes for maintenance for 6 months, no elevator, you have to climb 6 floors. You know what will happen? For the first 15 days, you will keep on cursing. You will keep on cursing the society manager, the chairman, whoever, for not getting the maintenance done. Because you will have that if last year your top line or the revenues that you did was, let's say, 5 crores. Last year you did a revenue of 5 crores, and this year again you're doing 5 crores. Have you grown? Have you really grown in terms of purely in terms of numbers? I'm saying you haven't grown. If you have to grow, you will have to go from 5 crores to 6 to 7. Or let's say if your top line is still at 5 crores, but if your profit margins are also the same. Let's say if you're at 16% profit and this year also you're at 16% profit, that does not mean you have grown. So, there are many people who say this, अरे हम तो 5 साल से रोज 2 किलोमीटर चल के आते हैं. I am very active. I go for a 2 kilometer walk every day since the last 5 years, non-stop. I appreciate that person's consistency, but you know what? In the last 5 years, 4.5 years, the person has not done any exercise. 4.5 years. Because in 6 months, the body got adapted to what the body was going through, to whatever exercise was going through. And now the body requires progressive overload, which means aap jo bhi exercise aaj kar rahe ho, don't be proud of that. You have to keep on growing because you are degenerating as you age. So let's say I am 28 years old today. Tomorrow I'll be 28 years, 1 day old. Day after I'll be 28 years, 2 days old. Correct? And all of you are also aging. There is no Wolverine here. Correct? All of us are aging. So as age picks up, we need to increase our exercise intensity as well. Are you getting my point? So intensity for a power lifter like Lorraine would be doing a 100 kilo deadlift. But intensity for you today is just picking up that 1 kg dumbbell. Because today, if you're doing 0, if you do just 1 kilo of weight tomorrow, or if you go for a 5-minute walk tomorrow, that is also intense. Intensity is different for different people. I got a question saying, what is ideal exercise? Which is the ideal form of exercise? Is it half a kilometer of walking, 2 kilometers of walking? No. The ideal exercise is to just start. Jo pasand aaye, Surya Namaskar, Zumba, joining a gym, going for a walk, whatever you like, you just need to start. And when you start, then slowly and steadily, you need to create progression in that. You can create variations in that, and then you can keep on creating an exercise program, which is half an hour only, and that will have a huge impact on your health and your fitness. I got a message saying, Kal se hi bas super motivated now. Don't wait for Kal se. If there is any justice that you guys can make for my session today, start today. Start today, like right now, after the session, if you have your calls to make, just go for a walk. That's all it needs. Because you know what? The reward and consequence cycle will again go in the brain tomorrow. Kyare, aaj to 10th Feb hai. By the way, kal to hai Saturday, nahi kal Friday hai. And we know what happens on Friday. Monday is so close. Then you will say Monday se start karenge. So don't wait for tomorrow. It has to happen. Would like to share with all of you, and especially women, not just women, actually men also, is that we entrepreneurs have a lot of sitting job, right? We have a calf muscle. Hamare knee ke niche, ghutne ke niche calf muscle hai. The calf muscle is also called as an auxiliary heart, second heart, because the calf muscle has to pump in so much blood that it reaches the top of the body. Because the calf is the lowest point, and see, our heart has an advantage. Why? Because the heart pumps blood and blood goes in the direction of gravity. So when something is going in direction of gravity, it can go easily. But for the calf, it has to pump something against gravity. So the calf is as strong as our heart. It is called as the second heart of the body. Because we are constantly sitting, in the calf, there is a muscle called as the soleus. And what happens with this soleus muscle is that the soleus muscle is contracting and sending blood up. And sending blood up through veins. And these veins have valves. These valves are there to prevent impure blood to go up or to go down again and to stay. Because we are not moving, you can check your own calves right now. Many people have something called as varicose veins. Spider veins convert to varicose veins convert to ulcers. And then you need to go through a surgery, and then you need to wear stockings, and then you cannot wear skirts or saris without wearing stockings. That is a very big problem. And varicose veins are so painful that you will not be able to focus at your work. And all of these things count. Going to the doctor, coming back. We already are taking so many leaves for our mental health. Why to add one more challenge by also losing our physical health and then adding some more leaves at our work? Maybe we have an important meeting, and during that meeting, your leg pain suddenly triggers. And it is excruciating pain when there is leg pain. And no matter you apply Volini to it, you apply or you take any painkiller, it doesn't stop because the veins get swollen, the muscles there get swollen. So varicose veins is one of a lot of entrepreneurs these days. There are exercises with which you can counter varicose veins. If you just do calf raises is just going on your toes, you can counter varicose veins. All right. One more thing I would like to share with you all, I'll take around 10 minutes more and then we'll open for questions, is I'm really sick and tired of all of these fitness seminars in which they make you move. Okay, come on, let's stand up, let's do 2 squats. Wow, you did so well. Give me a right twist, give me a left twist, and a lot of people say you should be very mindful about your body, because when you're working, after every half an hour, you should get up from the chair and you should do certain drills and then you should sit down again. Boss, when my company is going through losses and when I have an emergency situation at work, work takes the topmost priority in my life. If there is an email that and it is a big corporate deal that I'm going to land, a deal which might change the trajectory of the company, do you think you would remember getting up from the chair and then moving? Not possible. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing that. If you remember, might as well do it. But when we get engrossed in meetings after meetings and when we get engrossed in work, that takes the number one priority. फिर ना घर वाले दिखते हैं, ना बच्चे दिखते हैं, ना हस्बैंड दिखता है, ना वाइफ दिखता है, कोई नहीं दिखता. It is all you and your work, correct? And if you're really passionate about your work, that is what happens with everyone, correct? So instead of looking at those hacks, or we call them nuske in Hindi, ye hack karo, ye green tea piyo, wo green tea piyo, forget all of those hacks. Just have this one simple rule in your life. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to train for half an hour. Because that exercise that you will do for half an hour will equip your body to do 20-hour days. अगर कोई दिन 20 घंटे काम करना पड़े, no back pain. अगर किसी दिन 16 घंटे काम करना पड़े, no back pain. We say sitting is bad, but can you avoid sitting? I am sitting right now. You all are sitting right now. Okay, sitting is bad. So what? What do you do about that then? Sitting is bad, but all my meetings that are there are coffee meetings, or people come to meet me, they sit, I need to sit. Then if you say sitting is bad, what do I do about it? There is no way around it. If you want wide field, I know what kind of pain Bangalore people go through here. There is so much traffic. How will you stand up in the car? If you open the sunroof and stand up in the car, the cops will catch you. It's not legal. You can't stand. You will have to sit. So morning or in the evening or any time that you want to, where your body is equipped to take on that load, and your body can go through that burden of 16 hours, 18 hours, and whatever life throws at you. That is the perspective shift that all of us need to do. And then if you invest that half an hour in you, then there won't be any leaves that you need to take because of back pain. Then there won't be medicines that you need to pop for blood pressure and diabetes and thyroid and this and that. And then your menstrual cycles will go on smoothly. Exercise is related directly to menstrual cycle pain. Exercise is related directly to the cramps that all women face during menstrual cycles. Exercise is linked directly, and this is all research, to having mood swings and lessening the mood swings during menstrual cycles. You can't avoid that. But with exercise, you can equip your body to go through that smoothly. Are you getting my point? All right. One more thing, a little bit about nutrition, I'll tell you. Can someone tell me which are the most boring meetings in office. Tell me a time. कि ये जो time होता है ना, these are the most boring meetings. Please tell me what time. Anyone? I got one answer is 3. Any other? Afternoon, post lunch. Because there is something called as lethargy due to brain fog. If you do a blood test today, you know, you can check your blood sugar level fasting. You know what is normal fasting? Knows? Normal fasting blood sugar level kya hota hai? Anyone knows? It is below 100. It is between 70 and 100. Deciliter to 5 liters, you know how much sugar you need every day? 5 grams. And you know how much is 5 grams? Adhi ki adhi roti, quarter roti, that is 5 grams. Or 1/4 teaspoon is 5 grams, or 1 teaspoon, sorry, is 5 grams. And the amount of sugar that we eat, the amount of carbohydrates that we eat, and in lunch, leke aate biryani, roti, potato ki sabzi, so much carbohydrates we eat, where the body is not able to equip or able to accept that much glucose. And that is why all the energy goes to the digestive system. And when all the energy goes to the digestive system, you slow down. You don't have focus. You have brain fog. Then the decisions that you need to make, acha, theek hai, tere ko theek lag raha hai na, kar de. Then you cannot do critical analysis. Then you cannot do critical thinking. Most irritating meetings at 4 p.m. And at 4 p.m., everyone in our office is thriving with energy. Because there are no big bolus of carbohydrates at lunch. We eat proteins, we eat salads, and we also eat carbohydrates, but in very small quantities, only as much as the body needs. So if you stop having so much amount of carbohydrates, they will go down, and you can have proteins and you can have fibers. There is one more very interesting thing which I would like to tell you. Has anyone here ever eaten Lay's chips? Lay's chips. Lay's nahi khaya hai kabhi kisi ne. Lay's to khaya hai. There are different flavors, right? All the flavors all of us have eaten. You know the tagline of Lay's? What is the tagline of Lay's? You know, I'll tell you. No one can eat just one. It is not just a marketing stunt. It is a very, very psychological and physiologically correct tagline. You know why? Because you open a packet of Lay's और आपके सामने खोल के रख दो, and then you have one chip and keep looking at the remaining packet. You won't be able to stop, no matter how much willpower you have. You won't be able to stop. And you know why you can't stop? Because again, there is potato, there is salt, and then there is oil. A combination of this is highly palatable, and these foods are designed to be highly palatable because you get cravings again and again. That happens with carbohydrates as well. आप कभी ये नहीं सुनोगे कि मैंने पनीर कबाब्स पे बिंज किया, बट आप ये हमेशा सुनोगे कि मैंने पिज्जा पे बिंज किया, मैंने गुलाब जामुन पे बिंज किया, मैंने लेज पे बिंज किया. कभी सुना है चिकन तंदूरी पे बिंज किया? मैं कभी नहीं होगा. Because protein has highest satiety. Protein has highest satiety. You cannot overeat protein by design. You will never ever see a wild animal that is fat. Remember, all the fat animals are only Labradors and cats which have a connection with human species. But if you ever go to the wild, actually for a wildlife safari, you would never see a wild animal that is fat, because wild animals only eat the foods that they are supposed to eat. So if we would have eaten the foods that we are supposed to eat, which is proteins, healthy fats, and fibers, we would have never gone into any health problems. We would have become. And now in the age of Swiggy and Zomato, of course, cravings are flying around all over. You go on Instagram, you swipe 2 reels, and you see this cake baking, very delicious ASMR video where you then start craving for food. So if you want to reduce the cravings, you need to do something where you need to start focusing on your protein. Your cravings will go down, your appetite will be better. Also, one more thing which I would like to share, which my counterpart or my co-founder Divita shared with me. She goes to a club where I think all of you are also connected. She goes for the meetups, right? And she observes how people eat food. And people literally binge on food at a networking event. And half the people are high on alcohol at a networking event. How would you connect with other people if you yourself are high on alcohol? Imagine that you are talking about how sophisticated is your business, and how your leadership skills, and how is this and how is that, and there is a piece of bread which is sticking out of your chin like that. Come on, what kind of impression are you putting out there? When people eat their food, they eat as if this is the last meal of my life. Khatam iske baad. जैसे वो फांसी पे चढ़ाने के पहले बोलते हैं ना, which is the meal that you want, which is your last meal. It is like that. So at least at networking events, and you know why there is no control? Because when you see other people eating a pizza, suddenly cravings start. And then you say, I'll have just one bite. And that one bite ends up to 2 bites. 2 bites go to the whole slice, and whole slice becomes the whole pizza. And then there is again gastric problems, again brain fog, again acidity and whatnot. So if you're ever at any networking meeting, or if you ever want to keep your brain focused, please focus on your protein. If you eat protein, your hunger level goes down, and then you don't get hangry, which is irritation and hunger together, or anger and hunger together. Then when you open the fridge, you will never choose the salad. You'll always go for the cake. So if you don't want to be hungry, एक simple सा एक आपके office में एक tiffin रख दो, छोटा सा. Keep a tiffin, keep some almonds and walnuts in that. Keep some cheese cubes, keep some, or whenever you order food or whenever you want to cook food, have paneer, have soya bean. If you are a non-vegetarian, have eggs, have chicken. People talk a lot about, oh, protein damages the kidneys, but you'll have to eat 300 grams of protein if you want to damage your kidneys. And 300 grams means 1.5 kilo of chicken. Can you eat 1.5 kilo of chicken every single day consistently? No. You would eat 100 grams. और वो भी जब चिकन घर में बनता है तो 5 लोगों में सब्जी बढ़ती है. In India, you get 1 piece. Nothing will happen to your kidneys, but these many amount of carbohydrates that we eat will definitely affect your kidneys. So 30 minutes of exercise every day is going to change the anatomy of your brain, is going to help you focus. It is going to help you with your menstrual cycles, with your cramps. It is going to help you win more because serotonin levels will go high. Second thing is things like varicose veins, PCOS, diabetes. These things will be taken care of. You will prevent these things. It is an investment. And as I said, protein first principle, protein and fiber first, carbohydrates and everything else second. Always when you eat your food, attack on protein and fiber first, so that your stomach is full and you are solved your appetite. All right. Now we can go for questions if you have any. This is probably going to be my shortest seminar ever. The longest has been 8 hours, and on an average I do 2 hours क्योंकि बहुत सारा है share करने के लिए. So I'll have to cut short my talk and we will go with questions today. Amit,
Awesome.
if you could just
awesome. That was a काफी interesting session था, good insights and good amount of I don't know if I can say the word kick. वो kick मिल रही है अभी कि ठीक है. You actually sometimes need a kick to start walking. All right, so there are a few questions in the chat.
Just one thing, just sorry to interrupt you. You mentioned that there is a kick needed, no? I'll tell you guys, a kick from a trainer is a lot better than a kick from a doctor.
Oh.
Because when you get a kick from a trainer, it is to push you in the gym. A kick from a doctor is on the operation theater, is in the operation table, where they are doing a bypass surgery for you. or when the doctor declares कि आपको diabetes हो गया, अभी lifelong ये लो metformin ये खाओ. So kick from the trainer is a lot better than a kick from the doctor. All right, please remember that.
Yeah, I totally echo your thoughts. And there's a question from Nuzad. Does walking after meal is advised? Walking after meal at night.
All right. So if you look again at wild animals, and I keep referring to wild animals, is because they are dumb, and the dumber we are, the healthier we are. It is as simple as that. When our species was dumb, when we were hunters and gatherers, we were the healthiest. 200, 300 years back, when the industrial revolution had not happened, हमारे परदादा के वक्त, they are the dumber they are, the healthier they are. Go to villages. The dumber they are, the healthier they are. It is a fact. And it is a fact because then we don't have much choices when we are dumb. Why? And then let's say he's eating a deer and he eats half the deer. He won't say, oh, the juiciest part is remaining, so I'll eat. No, his stomach is full. His stomach is full, so he'll leave it. Same with an elephant. An elephant will go and eat plants. He won't say, oh, these plants look a lot fresher. No, his stomach is full, leave it. And you know what wild animals do after eating? What everyone should do is rest. After eating your dinner, you should ideally directly sleep. Wash your hands and sleep. You don't need Shatapauli. You don't need that 100 steps. You don't need any walk. If you eat the right food. But if you eat a biryani, forget about walking. Standing up from the dining table is a challenge. There would be the sound of the chair going back, and there would be some 2-3 similar sounds which would come from your body when you stand up after eating a full pizza. Yeah, because it is so inflammatory, that food, it is so gastric. And then acidity low, antacid low, ye low, wo low. No. If you eat the right food, you don't need to walk. But if you eat the wrong food, which is if you eat a very high carb meal, or if you eat a very high calorie meal, or if you eat a meal which has a combination of carbs and fats, such as pizza, for example, then you will have to walk. Because when you walk, you're burning off the excess glucose that you have gained through that food. But doing any kind of activity after having a heavy lunch or a heavy dinner becomes very difficult. The best activities happen in the fasted state because the digestive system does not demand so much energy. The energy can be given to the musculoskeletal system where you can do any activities. Many people run marathons. Before marathons, they eat a lot and then they can't perform. Some marathoners run on a fasted state and probably they'll eat a banana or just a couple of cheese cubes. They perform a lot better. All right. So you don't need to walk, but if you eat the wrong food, you will have to walk. Because if you lay down on the bed, you will keep turning all night. You won't get good sleep. All right. Yes.
Omkar, I have a question, if I may directly ask you on the voice.
Sure.
So there are times when the meetings are really exhausting, and if the meeting is a very critical one, there is a lot of thinking and brainstorming that happens. You end up with a slight headache, and I have found that having anything which is sugary, uh, you know, headache कम हो जाता है उससे. So is it a healthy thing to do as a practice? Because I have resorted to थोड़ा शक्कर वाली चाय बना लो, या
Yeah.
have some sweet or a protein bar. Protein bar, I don't know, but then yeah, point is that chocolate खा लो तो it feels better.
Yeah.
What is that thing? And that's especially for entrepreneurs, and for me also, it's true. It works.
Right. So please remember, our body works in a sine wave pattern with glucose. So for example, if I have a 5-star chocolate right now, 5-star is like pure glucose. There is maltose, malt syrup, 5-star. It is very sticky. It has malt syrup and it is like a sugar bomb. So if I have a big 5-star right now, and if I check on a continuous glucose monitor, या फिर मैं मेरी glucose level check करूँ, my glucose level will be suddenly 300. Everyone's glucose level will shoot up. If I eat 2, 3, 5-star chocolates, it will go 150, 200, 300. It will keep climbing up. Normal blood glucose level should be between 70 and 100, correct? Fasting. Now here's the catch. It goes to 300. So your body has suddenly a lot of energy. But what happens after a lot of energy is a lot of insulin gets secreted in the body. Insulin is secreted from the pancreas because if there is so much sugar in the blood, it can be very, very infectious. Anyone has gone through an operation? Before an operation, they check your sugar level. अगर आपकी sugar level ज़्यादा है, operate नहीं करेंगे. They will wait for your sugar level to come down, only then they will operate. Or before an operation, they tell you don't eat. Don't eat food. On the day of the operation, they ask you not to eat and drink anything since morning, correct? So that is to regulate sugar levels because sugar is infectious. So this is a natural response by the body that insulin is secreted by the pancreas. But when insulin is secreted, it does not get the sugar level back to 70. There is a lot of insulin secreted because you've eaten so much sugar and it will pull it down and get it crashing down. And then it will go down to 40. So then suddenly hyperglycemia is followed by hypoglycemia. And then 2 hours after your meal, you suddenly feel like a zombie. No energy in the body. You feel so tired. Then when you feel tired, you get a headache. And guess what we do to solve that headache? Another 5-star. 5-star नहीं तो KitKat है, KitKat नहीं तो Dairy Milk है, Dairy Milk नहीं तो Nescafe का आपके ऑफिस में there is a coffee machine which gives that sugary coffee very sweet. Instead, if you have salt, or instead if you have coconut water, which is a very rich source of potassium, you will find that the headache is gone like that. Because what your body needs at that time is electrolytes and not necessarily glucose. Second thing that you can do is, as some people were asking, is ragi okay? Is jawari okay? Yes, ragi and jawari are slower carbohydrates. So they will release glucose in the system slowly. So instead of eating wheat or instead of eating rice, you can eat ragi or jawar. But ragi और jawar खाना चाहिए इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप 4-4 भाकरी खाओ. Because then the glycemic load will be high and again you will get a sugar spike. So as I said, if you eat your protein first, then you eat your fibers and then you eat your bhakri or jawari ki ragi ki jo roti hai, that will sort you out. And that will also make sure that you don't get hungry after every 2 or 3 hours. Tell me which is a better car. A car that needs to stop at every fuel pump, jiska mileage 2 या 3 hai, or a car that you fill the fuel once and it goes for 300 kilometers. Our body is the best machine ever designed. Ever designed. Just YouTube wonders of the body. Just YouTube this, and you'll see some videos which will make you so grateful, and you will thank God to give you this amazing machine. And we ruin it so much. You know, we believe in lifestyle in Omfit. We don't believe in drastic changes. We don't give anyone 5 kilo and 10 kilo weight loss plans. We get calls saying, "Mere bhai ki shadi hai, mujhe next month tak 10 kilo kam karna hai." We are like, "Sorry, we can't do it." Because when you lose 10 kilos, you gain 20. Lifestyle change is slow change. It is gradual change. It is habit change. And when lifestyle change happens, it happens permanently. Many people ask me, Omkar, you have made a nutrition chart for me. कब तक follow करना है? मैं बोलता हूँ जब तक आप जिंदा हो तब तक. Why? Because it is not a diet chart. It is your lifestyle. An athlete does not ask, कब तक exercise करना पड़ेगा? An athlete knows that if I am a competitive athlete, I will have to exercise for life because I want to compete. So you need to get into that athlete mindset where you need to think, oh, I need to get onto something which I can do for life and not like a drastic weight loss plan. Because I am sure many of you must have tried weight loss plans and many of you must have bounced back also, wasting money and wasting resources and wasting time. So small changes, tiny changes, but then you can go for a longer duration. Okay. So did I answer your question, Amrit?
Yes, yes. I think.
So yeah, coconut water,
Coconut water, yes.
sort it out because coconut water has carbohydrates but minimal amount, but it is a very good source of potassium also. Plus you can have some almonds and walnuts because that will give you some more satiety. Almonds and walnuts have all three: carbs, proteins, fats. So that will give you some satiety. मीठा खाने की जरूरत नहीं है. And if you all have chai or coffee with sugar, please leave sugar from chai or coffee. And मेरा एक स्क्रीनशॉट लेके प्रिंट आउट लेके फोटो लगा दो, मुझे रोज गाली दे दो for 7 days, because for 7 days you will curse me for leaving the sugar because it will taste so bad. It will taste so bad. But guess what? There are taste receptors on our tongue which recalibrate after every 7 to 10 days. Just like saap जो होता है ना skin को छोड़ देता है. So the taste receptors on our tongue, they recalibrate every 7 to 10 days. So if you leave sugar today from your coffee, this same cup of coffee, which is without sugar, which is fika, it will start tasting normal for you. And then guess what? After 15 days, if someone gives you a sugar loaded coffee, you won't be able to have even 1 or 2 sips of that because our body adapts. This same coffee, which is sugar coffee for you, and we very particularly say, I'll have 1.5 teaspoon of sugar in my coffee and about 100 ml of milk. You know what? You don't need to be that British lady having an English breakfast, which is so specific about sugar. Just forget the sugar, and after 7 to 10 days, you will be adapted. And then you will never like sugar in your coffee. And then you'll also understand that, hey, I'm not so addicted to coffee or tea anymore. And hey, I don't need to put biscuits in the coffee to fill up my meal and to fill up my breakfast. All right. Yes.
Awesome. That was really helpful. There's one more question in the there's one more question in the chat box by Sanjana. It's about sweet craving post dinner. They have switched to a no added
Yeah, I
sugar
understood
diet.
the question. So they have a dried date post meal, and it helps in curbing cravings. So dried dates also release glucose in the body. All right. Dried dates also. So all of these things, some people say don't have sugar, have jaggery instead. Don't have sugar, have dates instead. For the body has one washing machine, which is called the intestine. HCl is the name of the acid which is sent in the intestine, and everything, all the carbohydrates except for fructose, all the carbohydrates are converted to glucose. So आप dates खाइए, या आप raisins खाइए, या आप sugar खाइए, या आप jaggery खाइए, वही सब कुछ एक ही है. You get some added benefits from dates. You get some added benefits from jaggery. जैसे jaggery में से iron मिलता है, but that does not mean that jaggery is good. You are choosing the lesser evil. एक मूवी में 2 विलन है. एक विलन बहुत बुरा है जिसने 5 मर्डर किए, और दूसरा विलन है जिसने 4 मर्डर किए. You can't say, oh, the person who has done 4 murders is such a good person. No. There is a cost to benefit ratio by which we analyze things, or there is an SWO2 analysis that we do as entrepreneurs. So cost to benefit ratio, let's say we have an employee who is a very good employee, but is a virus in the team. He's spreading negativity in the team, and he's trying to poach our team members. But he's a very good, he's very good at execution. Does that mean he's a good employee? No. You will have to cut it off. So instead of dates, again, I repeat, instead of dates, you can try having something such as nariyal pani, which is coconut water. All right. You can have salted lemon water also, because when you have sugar cravings and if you have something salty, that also takes care of it. And for the first 5 or 6 days, just control. Just control. It is painful, I know. Just control it. And you will suddenly find after 5 or 6 days, hey, I don't need sweets after dinner anymore. I don't need that piece of Toblerone or Hershey's chocolates which are kept in my fridge, which my friend got when he came from the US or from Dubai. I recently bought a car, and car lene ke baad, what is a culture in India is to give pedha, right? Sweets, laddu baatte. I gave coconut waters to everyone. No problem in that. Okay. Sanjana, I hope I answered your question. All right.
So does black raisins also come in the same category?
Yeah, similar. So see, if you compare direct sugar versus dates and black raisins, dates and black raisins would be better than direct sugar, no doubt. But the better is only a 5 to 10% difference, not a lot. Okay, because then you would be anyways overeating your calories if you keep on eating dried dates or raisins. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And one last question by Manisha. Sugar and acne, are they related?
Yes, there is a, and I'll share a quick story. I had a consultation where a person walked in. This was pre-COVID. She was 27 years old, and she was in the cabin crew. She was an air hostess. She came in, and air hostess by their profession need to look a particular way, need to have their waistline in a particular and their body weight in a particular range. So anyone looked at her would say, hey, you're fit and fine, no problem. When she came in and when she walked in, so when we take members on board, we have a very comprehensive list of questionnaire which we ask. So I asked her, do you have to wake up and urinate at night? रात को नींद में से उठ के, and she said yes 2 to 3 times every night. And if you look at her, she looks slim and trim. She doesn't look fat, nothing. Then I asked her to check her elbow crease and her neck crease, and there was blackening on elbow crease and neck crease, which is called as acanthosis nigricans, which is a symptom of diabetes in which the skin starts blackening, especially at the neck, especially at the elbow crease, in the underarms, at the groin and behind the knee. तो जहां पे भी ये creases है वहां पे blackening होने लगता है. And many people think it is because of a golden chain or whatever chain they use. It is not because of the chain. That is because of diabetes. And then she checked her blood sugar level. She checked her HbA1c. Her HbA1c was 11.3. And then she understood that, oh, I have diabetes. Acne is again related to PCOS. PCOS is also related to, acne is one of the symptoms of PCOS. It is because testosterone levels can go very high in females, which is not natural. So they start missing their periods, and that is again connected to sugar. There is a connection with acne and sugar. There is a connection. Because in general, your total inflammation in the body goes high. There is also a connection between obesity and acne, where if you are eating excess amount of calories and not burning those, then you will become obese or you will become fat, and that also has a link with acne. In some cases, it is purely genetic. So you can't really treat acne with food, but there are people who have had reduced acne because they have changed their nutrition. All of these techniques, wo sab karte hain log, facial yoga, all of that is nonsense. Nothing happens with that. All of that is nonsense. You can't do spot reduction. You can't treat a particular area of acne with exercise. Don't fall for that. All right. Yes.
Thank you, Omkar. Manisha has been actually since the second time उनका ये same question आया. Any recommendation on a book for emotional intelligence? So do recommend that can help in productivity and focus.
All right. So I'll share a opinionated thought here. All right. I have my library right here, and I went through a lot of Western authors. Atomic Habits, this, that, बहुत सारा मैंने पढ़ा. And I love reading. I'm an engineer. I love science. I love reading. I was a total nerd in college, so I enjoy that. When I stumbled upon these self-help books, and when I read these self-help books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Crushing It, so many books. Every time I would read a book from a Western author mainly, I would feel a void in me. I would feel that something I'm missing. That out of the 7 effective habits, I have only 3, and I need to get on to 4 more. And I always had this void in me. I never felt at peace after reading a book. There was always this anxious thought कि अरे अभी ये भी करना है, अभी ये भी करना होगा. This is how I will lead my team, etc. There have been very few Western authors which have really impacted me and my emotional intelligence or my IQ. One of them is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. He's a Navy SEAL, and he has written a book called as Extreme Ownership. What the book does is it shifts the blame to you. And then when you are the blame shifts to you, then problems get solved. That is one of the only Western authors that I believe in. But I will urge you all to read this particular 68-page booklet. It is by Swami Vivekananda, and the name of the book is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. Whenever I heard about these Swamis, I always thought कि ये सब बहुत भगवान भगवान होगा. But I urge you, it is not at all Bhagwan. It is absolutely practical. And Swami Vivekananda was very intelligent, and it literally goes and hits your brain at the right spot. And every time I have read any of Swami Vivekananda's books, I have felt at peace. I never felt that there is a void in me. I always felt that, wow, I already have these powers in me. I already have all of these qualities in me. All I need to do is peel the cover of the onion. All I need to do is remove the veil, remove the layer of me, and ye sab qualities mere mein already hai. So these books by enlightened yogis of the past, such as Yogananda Paramahansa is one, Autobiography of a Yogi is one book, or Man's Eternal Quest is one more book, or Swami Vivekananda ka jo Karma Yoga hai na, that is purely what to say, pointed to work. How you should work, what should be your expectations, should you keep expectations or not, how to lead, how to work and its secret, multiple chapters in that, just 68 pages, but it is heavy and intense, but it is very good. But at the end of that, reading that book, you feel at peace and you feel very nice. That is my personal opinion. So you can read that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Omkar, for wonderful suggestions. You know, this session was very much real.
Beautiful.
It was very real. You know, that
Very
conversation.
beautiful.
Without hesitating, you presented your opinions about so many things, and you backed them logically, and आपने जो scientific चीजें जो words mention किया आपने, it was really so. Entrepreneurs है ना, अभी वो pragmatism देखते हैं, तो आदत हो गई है वो, तो जब तक आप कुछ चीजों के पीछे आप कुछ theory नहीं समझाओगे तब तक वो belief आता नहीं है. And so that's really a good approach that you took today, and I really appreciate. Thank you for all these amazing suggestions, and for taking time out and answering all the questions, and also presenting such perspectives. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि एक भी इंसान को अगर ये benefit हो जाता है ना, that they are able to go beyond their challenges and be able to benefit through the session, I think the objective of the session is fulfilled, and I just hope that I keep that spirit when you keep that spirit, and we really look forward to having more such sessions with you, Omkar. Thanks to Divita as well. Unfortunately, she was not able to join us today, but once again, please convey our regards to her, and also once again, thank you so much. It was a great session. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omkar. Thank you so much.